Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about investing in shares as part of interest and depreciation. So shares are where people can buy part of a company, and the price of these shares change daily because of many factors such as demand or economic situations. People who own shares are called stakeholders, and they earn something called a dividend, and we can calculate the dividend yield from the formula you see below. Anyone who buys and sells shares is called a stockbroker, and they charge a commission, which we call the brokerage. So how do we calculate the dividend yield? Well, it's quite simple. We find the dividend per share over the market price per share, and we multiply it by 100 to make it a percentage. So let's go through a few examples. So Simone had 2,000 shares valued at that much and received a dividend of that much per share. What was the dividend yield correct to 3 decimal places? So we're going to use a dividend yield formula, and we need to know first the market price per share. So if all the shares cost 17,640 and she had 2,000 shares, so we're going to do the market price divided by how many shares we have. So it's going to be 17,640 divided by 2,000, which gives us per share is $8.82. So the dividend yield is quite simple. Now we just put our dividend over the market price per share times by 100, and we get that. Now we have to round that off, remember? So we round it off to 3 decimal places and we get 20.748%. Now let's go through example 2. Susie purchased 700 shares in Coles at $36 per share with a dividend yield of that much percent. 1 year later, she sold all the shares and her broker charged 2% for buying and 1% for selling. She sold each share for $42.30. What was her total cost in buying the shares? Well, let's have a look at, first she had 700 shares at $36.40 per share. So it's going to cost her that much first just for the shares. So 700 times $36.40, that's just for the purchase price. Then the broker also charges 2% for buying. So we have to find 2% of that and add them together, and the total cost is going to be the cost of the purchase price and the brokerage. Let's go on to part B. It says calculate her total earnings over the year. Well, what did she earn? Her dividend yield was 3.6% of her total. So 3.6% of her total. Of the purchase price equals that. Her selling price is she had 700 shares and she sold them for $42.30. So she earned the dividend and she earned how much she sold it for, but the brokerage was that much. So we have to minus that from her earnings because the broker charged her 1% to sell the shares. So her total earnings were the selling price plus the dividends minus the brokerage minus the total cost it originally cost her to do. So when we calculate all that, she earned $11,441.58. Okay guys, I have 3 quick questions here for you to do. Pause the screen, do the questions, and then come back for the answers. Okay, you should be done by now. Please check all your answers off. Hopefully you got them all right. Till next time, take care.